Shout out to everybody out there on White Street. You already know what it is. Salute to everybody.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to SteveBussaGS. We got another scorecard reaction for you guys. Now, this one's a little bit different. I want to talk about a few things. I'm going to have like a little speech before we get into this. And because I feel like the background story to what I'm about to do is also just as important as the reaction and however the reaction decides to go. So, fast forward or rewind to a couple hours ago where April Showers, who's the reactor here, hits me up on Twitter. Now, we have been cordial. I didn't know her. Like, she's not anyone that I'm personally involved with or anything like that. We don't have any type of collaborations or nothing. But we do have mutual subscribers. And our mutual subscribers are the ones that, like, put us onto each other. They're like, hey, you guys would fucking get along well. And it's John Henry. You guys have heard me talk about John Henry a lot on my channel. So if he tells me that somebody's dope, at this point in my career, I just understand that him and I have a mutual understanding of what that means. And I take his word for it. So I'm like, cool. If he says this person's dope, then this person's dope. I never really watched their reactions because the whole reason I got into being a reactor is I was disenchanted with the reactors that are out there. Everybody kind of kissing ass, afraid to say something sucks, and just like really kind of like placating for subscribers, right? So that's like, I started my own thing. I have a scorecard. I break it down. I'm not out to trash nobody, but I am down to keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? So she hits me up and she's like, yo, are you a reactor, right? Which is a fair question because, like I said, we never communicated. Like, we talked on Twitter and stuff like that, but it was like she'll put something up that I just respect and I'll comment on it, or I'll put something up and she'll like it and she'll like it. It's never like us having a conversation. So I'm like, yes, I'm a reactor, I'm also a rapper, and blah 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 blah. We do the spiel, right? She's like, cool, I want you to do a reaction for me. Or she didn't say it like that. She was like, would you mind, like, could you do a reaction for me? I would appreciate it. She's like super humble. I loved it, right? I said no. I was like for real. Like, I didn't want to do this at all. And the reason is, I know that she's not a rapper. My channel is designed to be super critical. Like, my channel is designed to not just say everything's good and move on. You know what I'm saying? And the last thing that I want to do is shit on this lady who's like, obviously loves hip-hop, is doing awesome with her reaction channel. She has more subscribers than me. She has ties with other reaction channels and stuff like that that have a mutual respect. So the last thing I want to do is fucking shit on her. Or what would be even worse than that is if I fucking fake liking it just to, you know what I mean, for like whatever. I didn't want to do it. So I kept it 100 with her. I was like, look, that's not really what my channel's about. And then she was like, no. Like, I swear to God, this is how this happened, right? She was like, nah, yo, I want you to be honest with me. Like, I want your honest feedback. And I was like, I get that, but I don't think you understand what that means. I said, let me do this. Have you ever watched my reactions? Obviously not. She asked if I was a reactor, right? So I was like, let's do this. I sent her over 2 videos of reactions that were less than flattering, where I thought it was like a trash song, and it's me bashing it for a couple minutes and also giving positive feedback and critiques and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, this is my style of reaction. These people may or may not be better than you right now, like, because these are actual rappers who have polished videos and stuff like that. And I was like, and this doesn't score well. I know, like, your stuff is probably not going to score well either, and I don't want, like, nobody wins. If you're just bringing negativity to the forefront, nobody wins, and that's not what I'm about. I'm about spreading positivity. I'm about giving positive feedback. I'm about, like, everything that is not just shitting on someone who doesn't even claim to be a rapper. It's just, my channel's not the place for it, right? And this is when I found out that the G in April G Showers stood for gangster, because, like, yo, she didn't give one fuck. She was like, cool, send the links, yo. She sent the links, and she's laughing the whole time. She's sending me, I know she's watching it because she was like actually sending me quotes of what I was saying and stuff like that. And she was like, nah, I love that you keep it real. Like, this is what I wanted. And like, I started gaining respect for it right from there. And then I still said no, because I was like, look, man, it's going to look bad for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if this doesn't go well, which we all assumed, like, I assumed that it wasn't going to, right? And I was like, we just score things differently. Like, most people on the internet with how things are going think things are hot that I just don't think are hot. And I'm not going to put up like screenshots of our conversation or nothing like that because I don't know how public she is with like her ranking systems. But we took a song that we had both heard that had multiple artists on it, and I was like, how would you score this? because I score this very low and everybody else scores this very high, and this is the type of shit that pisses me off. And she was like, bet, and like leaves and comes back a little bit later and really like broke down how she would score it. And we didn't agree 100%. We didn't agree 100%, but she wasn't kissing ass either. Like, she wasn't just, you know what I'm saying? Like, she kept it 100 with me. And I'll tell you what, man, if nothing else, I respected the shit out of her for that. And I was like, you know what? You want me to do this? Like, that's love right there. First of all, if somebody wants you to react to their stuff, like, that's love. Because that means that, like, there's at least some type of mutual respect. Maybe she just wants clout. Maybe it's just like, hey, I want my art to be out there. I don't care who looks at it. But that's not the vibe that I got. You know what I'm saying? You can tell when someone's just like, I just want my song everywhere, blah, blah, blah. Wasn't like that. That wasn't the vibes I was getting. Also, I just realized the shades are on. The shades are on because I am sick as a fucking dog right now, and I look like shit, and I don't know. I don't want a fucking video out here of me looking that fucking terrible so I get roasted later on. You know what I'm saying? That's why the shades are on. But, so, then we start going, and she starts sending me some of her videos, too, where she's roasting people. And that's when I started to really fuck with her, because I was like, yo, she's not afraid to be like, yo, this is fucking trash. And then her comment section, like the people that have flocked to her, that is like, I guess would be her core audience, weren't mad that she was roasting people. They were fucking laughing with it too. Like, they were 100% about it. And then we had some mutual people that we know we have mutual respect with, like Hunter Kufi. Shout out to my guy. Like, I was like, yo, like, that's the people's champ. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? So like, we had some mutual people, and it came down to like me finally being like, you know what? Just because I respect you, I'm gonna do this. Now, I'm not going to be disrespectful, even if I don't like it. I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying, like, treat her like a rapper, because she claims not to be a rapper. But I will give and critique this an honest feedback the way that I would if Eminem dropped a track and I wanted to go and critique that. And that's just because I respect her. So I want to start this off with a couple things. Number one, if you come here and you don't like what I got to say, suck my dick. I don't care. Number two, if I find, like, I have a mutual respect with her, so I am okay with however way this goes. If you disrespect this woman in my comment section, you will be blocked from my channel. I am not here with the shits. We are here to promote positivity, give positive feedback, and check something out. I don't know what this is. Or actually, I do know what this is. Hold on. It's called It Stops Where It Starts by April Dree. My perspective on everything going on. So I don't know what that's in reference to. I'm assuming this is about, you know what I mean, like the riots and things like that. We'll find out. It could be about coronavirus. It could be about that. Like I don't know. Like, it's obviously about something going on in the world right now. But this is not like an open invitation. If this isn't spectacular, I don't want to see nobody talking shit. And also, I want to treat this like Go Subscribe Sunday. I want you guys to go and show some love. You can see, like, I subscribe to her. Like, she keeps it a bean. I fuck with her. So I want you to go and show love and subscribe to her, because if nothing else, regardless of how you feel about this, if it's the dopest thing you've ever heard in the world, or if you think it's trash, she keeps it a bean. And if you like reaction channels, then, like, you know what I'm saying, real gotta recognize real, go show some love. That's it. So that's the backstory. Now we're gonna hop into this. Do me a favor, run the gauntlet for me, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's go ahead and hop right into this then. Shout out to you, April, too, because I was really trying to, yo, man, I was really like, yo, this ain't the time and place for this, man. My channel's not the place for this. And she looked, she was like, yo, she was straight up. She was like, nah, son, run that. I was like, all right, cool, let's do this, man. All right, let's go.
What up, YouTube fam? It's April Jeep Showers back at y'all with something I have written that I am going to rap, because last night I was in King Blitz's live, just like he's live right now. I was in King Blitz's live. He's a dear friend of mine, my brother, love him, and he reacted to my Cypher 3 remix, which was awesome. I've got it uploaded if y'all hadn't seen it. Anyway, and he said he would be interested to hear me.
I like how she comes in and she's also plugging somebody else. Like, that's real shit. Like, she's not trying to hog the spotlight or nothing like that. She's just, like, shouting out another reactor. Like, that's dope. I'm assuming he's a reactor.
Write and rap my perspective on what's going on right now in our country and everything. So I did just that. And I am not a rapper. I am not an artist. So
I agree with half of that. I agree if you don't identify as a rapper, but if you are creating art, you are an artist. So I don't agree with not labeling yourself as an artist.
It's about the message, it's about the lyrics, it's about the writing. This is for you, Blitz. This is for everybody. I mean, I think it's a message everybody needs to hear, and it came straight from my soul, my heart, and this is very hard
You hear her voice quiver? You could tell she means what she's saying by how her voice quivers.
for me. So, anyway, it's called It Stops Where It Starts. April G. Squad. This love y'all.
So she does this on every reaction. I think it's adorable. I fuck with it. If you gotta come up with something for your channel that like makes you stand out, that makes you unique and stuff like that, and I don't know, that's just something that was in the back of my head. I was like, fuck, I should have like a little handshake or something like that with my people. I don't got one.
Let's get it.
Alright, so right off the bat, before we get into any of this, as far as like a scorecard goes, obviously this is not a recorded track. This is basically no different than the live acapella type shit that you guys already know that I fuck with. So we're not going to be scoring the audio quality or nothing like that, because obviously this is not a studio recording or nothing like that. This is just straight up live rap.
Hello, my name is April, a white woman in the USA, raised in the Bible Belt, in the sea of the KKK, was taught from an early age, stick to your own kind, didn't know any better, it was ingrained in my mind.
Okay, a couple things right off the bat. The cadence and the flow obviously is that of somebody who is not a rapper, right? So I am not going to continue to come back to that throughout this, right? She said it right in the beginning. This is more about the lyrics. This is more about the message. So we are not going to sit here and roast the fact that she's not dropping the next fucking rap god flow. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, it's an interesting perspective. So it sounds like this is going to be more about the racial tensions that are going on. It takes a lot to just like be like, hey, I'm from the place of the birth of the KKK. That's not something you would normally openly want to talk about and present yourself like that. But also the self-awareness, like, yo, she's starting off with the language is very derivative. I am from here. This is the way that I am. I am a white woman. So she's like kind of like owning her position. And I guess she's going to be speaking from that, from the position that she is in.
Hello, my name is April, a white woman in the USA, raised in the Bible Belt, in the sea of the KKK, was taught from an early age, stick to your own kind, didn't know any better, it was ingrained in my mind. I heard the N word a lot, it never felt right. If I tried to speak up, it just started a fight. Went to a small country school in a small country town. There were mostly white faces, just a couple black and brown. My big brother bought me a tape, my first time hearing hip-hop. Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style, next up was Tupac.
Alright, man, classic ones, you know what I'm saying? It's an interesting perspective. She's using her words to kind of like paint the picture of exactly where it is this is like coming out from, you know what I'm saying? I too, I had like a similar situation to where I grew up in a racist household. I grew up with family who are racist, and it's a little unsettling to grow up hearing racial slurs that are being thrown around and stuff like that, and to not agree with it because she's not a fucking idiot, and to like be stifled with your voice because it's just gonna cause issues. I can see where she's going with that.
Always been about lyrics, always listen to what is said. More hip-hop I heard, I saw the same message being spread. I see no changes, wake up in the morning and ask myself, is life worth living? Should I blast myself?
Alright, so she's doubling down. She talked about she went from Snoop Dogg, then she went to Tupac. Obviously, that's a callback to Tupac changes. It's a good literary device to like double down, because there's gonna be people that look and be like, oh, you had this white woman, what does she know? She's just name dropping big popular people. So you know what I'm saying? It's a good device to then double down on the idea of like, no motherfucker, this is what I was listening to.
Cops give a damn about a Negro. Pull the trigger, kill somebody, he's a hero. Is it because I'm black? Somebody tell me what can I do? Cause there ain't enough bars to hold the drum we get through. To all the teachers that told me I'd never amount to nothing. To all the people that lived above the buildings where I was hustling. Yeah, we should protect our Second Amendment rights. Cause any second a dirty cop could kick our door in tonight. Those are just a few strong verses that I heard. From the early 90s to now, I remembered every word. I started really thinking back when I was a teen. What exactly is it that makes them different than me?
Ooh, okay. So here we have a very, very interesting contrast. You would think under most normal circumstances, especially if you were not raised in a similar household that her and I were, with that your family is going to be the biggest influence that you have, as opposed to media, which in this case is hip-hop. Her admitting that the hip-hop had a larger impact and influence on her than her immediate family did. It elicits a certain type of like communion with other people who also listen to hip-hop. I'm gonna bring that back a little bit. That was dope. And let's see where she goes with this.
Those are just a few strong verses that I heard. From the early 90s to now, I remembered every word. I started really thinking back when I was a teen. What exactly is it that makes them different than me? They have a brain in their head, they have a beating heart. They are kind and caring too. How did this all start? I started paying close attention, trying to find a comparison. Only difference that I found was their skin had more melanin. Surely that can't be odd.
So this is I think the lyrics here were actually a little bit more on the weak side, to be honest with you. I think like the whole had a brain in their head, stuff like that, but the message is there. I feel like for as good as she was at developing a little bit more of an emotional response leading up to that, she could have spent a little bit more time on the compare and contrast there to use a little bit stronger language. If you notice, like, we'll bring it back just to kind of explain what I'm saying, but the language here, like the actual vocabulary and stuff like that, it did take a little bit of a dip at this point.
Is it that makes them different than me? They have a brain in their head, they have a beating heart, they are kind and caring too. How did this all start?
Like, nothing flashy, didn't really elicit emotional response. It's almost like looking at it from that scientific type of perspective is to disassociate that, like, you know what I'm saying, like that type of behavior or that type of comparison. That part just didn't match up with the other stuff. But the message is still there. She did a good job. You still convey what it is she was trying to say, which is what the fuck is the difference supposed to be outside of melanin.
I started paying close attention, trying to find a comparison. Only difference that I found was their skin had more melanin. Surely that can't be all. After Lincoln, Martin, and X, after Pop, Biggie, Easy, and they're still being oppressed. How in the hell is it okay? Marching white supremacists, KKK, spreading hate and trying to make sense of this.
That was dope. That whole part was dope. So, and again, now she's doing the part where she's using the ellipsis to where you're going in threes, right? So she had the three. Bring it back. Watch again. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about.
Comparison. Only difference that I found was their skin had more melanin. Surely that can't be all. After Lincoln, Martin, and X, after Pop, Biggie, Easy, and they're still being oppressed.
So in the English language, when you have those type of threes when you're writing like that, that is a strong device because of like the way that our brains are triggered, or not triggered, but like trained to understand and to impact things in threes. It allows for more of an impact than if she would have just said one or two of them. It's weird. I learned it in English in AP English class, and it's just one of those things that always stuck with me. And whenever I see any type of hip-hop artist or anything like that go into a comparison mode and they start dropping things in threes, it just always comes across as a stronger literary device for me.
How in the hell is it okay? Marching white supremacists, KKK, spreading hate and trying to make sense of this. I remember clearly it was 1991. Watched Cosby, Rodney King right there on my television. At 11 you that.
So at this point you can start to hear her tone differing. Like she's using the language again where she's talking about I. She's using that I language. So this is like more into like a storytelling mode. This is like her giving. This isn't like anecdotal at this point. You feel me? This is not like, oh, I heard a story that somebody told me one time and I'm now bringing that to fruition, which is what she did with the Tupac verse. Because the Tupac verse obviously was not from that I category. That was her listening from the perspective of somebody else. This is her now transitioning into that I category, talking about her own personal experiences. And you could hear the quiver in her voice as it's now eliciting an emotional response. But when she was doing that with the Tupac verse, you didn't hear any of that. She's able to just read that clearly and concisely because it's somebody else's experience. She's actually using her tone to convey to you that there is a transition between somebody else's experience and her experience.
Clearly, it was 1991. Watched Cosby, Rodney King right there on my television. At 11, knew that was wrong. Never did admit it. Pain and anger inside me grew when I saw those cops get acquitted. Moving on, I'm in high school. Got a system bumping in my car. No limit and cash money. Yeah, I thought I was so hard. One night, my friends and I were riding around on back roads, laughing, rapping, smoking. Yeah, we was getting blow. Then we heard the sirens behind us, the blue lights. I was trying to pull over as they put the weed outside. The cop walked up to my window. I was the one driving. He held up his flashlight, said, "Can I see your license?" I handed.
That was interesting. What she's doing with her voice there, that is definitely more something that you would find from a more experienced rapper or more experienced artist, where you start slurring words in a certain way that still makes sense and still coherent, but to fit the rhyme scheme. But it wasn't a stretch. Like, there's a difference between forcing a bar and using like a twang, because she already said she's from the Bible Belt and stuff like that, so there's a little bit of a dialect there. I thought that was pretty cool.
Behind us, the blue lights. I was trying to pull over as they put the weed outside. The cop walked up to my window. I was the one driving. He held up his flashlight, said, "Can I see your license?" I handed him my license, shaking, never been pulled over. I prayed and turned around and looked over my shoulder. My two friends in the back had their arms held straight out with their hands up. I wonder, what is that all about? The cop came back to my car after checking my license out. Next thing I knew, I heard "Get out" and "Get down" on the ground. I had no idea what.
So I don't know if she's doing this on purpose, probably based on the subject matter of the song, but she's using now imagery and an anecdotal situation to display her understanding of white privilege. So her using that language of saying they knew what it was, like, she didn't have to tell you that the people in the back were black. She put that idea in your head by them acting a certain way without her having to tell you, and her saying, "What is that about? Why are you doing that?" Like, that was a way, like, that is art. That is her way of expressing the idea of white privilege and her understanding of it now as an adult, and also acknowledging that she didn't understand it as a child or adolescent teen, wherever she was in her life. I guess she said she was in high school or whatever, so.
What was happening? Scared my life was about to end. The cop never messed with me. He kept yelling at my friends. He searched all of them, but he never touched me. And that was when I really, truly began to see. He ended up letting us go. Told me, "Watch who I hang around." I started to argue. My friend whispered, "Don't make a sound." So we left, sparked up a blunt. I said, "Can I ask a question? What the hell was that about?" They said, "But an African American." I got so angry and disgusted, tears streamed down my face. I had just witnessed what it's like to be another race. Here we are in 2022, decades later, and we're still seeing the same shit when we read the paper. I feel so lost and helpless, wish there was something I could do. Never thought I'd be ashamed of the red, white, and blue.
I'll tell you what, for as much as I gave her shit and not wanting to do this is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Like, a lot better than I thought it was going to be. She's doing a good job. I don't normally enjoy storytelling rap and stuff like that, so you guys already know that if you're on my channel. Like, I'm more about bars. I'm more about punchlines, similes, shit like that. I don't usually go for the more storytelling rap. For her to come out and talk about this as a white woman in the Bible Belt, which is universally understood as a more racist area than other parts in America, I think it's important. I think it's important to hear that perspective because she's involved in hip-hop right now, like the whole, you don't want to stay silent, you want to go and try and bring type of awareness, and she probably has a different fan base. Like, she's talking about this dude King Blitz. I don't know who that is, but I can see right here, he looks like he's probably black from the image that I could see on her computer screen. His fan base, by definition, is probably at this point in their career going to be different than the white woman from the South and her fan base initially. So to hear it come from him, it would mean, like, it would appeal to a certain audience and be entirely different when they hear it from a white woman from the South. Like, I think that that's important. Even if it's not the most polished, even if it's not the most polished flow, even if this isn't studio quality rapping or anything like that, it's still important with the idea of standing together and shit like that, because her voice will reach people that people like King Blitz or even people like me wouldn't be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's dope. Shout out to you.
I lost both of my brothers, yeah, both my siblings died. The grief is unbearable, but on God I have relied. So I have not used that word, saying brother is hard to me. But now I say it with gratitude when I refer to my brother Koofy. Not gonna say I don't see color.
Shout out to Koofies. Hunter Koofies is that guy.
That would be a lie. I see it, hear it, respect it. Please know I'm on your side.
See, I just got into somebody with this on Facebook, right? I had one of my friends comment, because I made the video, if you look at my Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter video that I put up, and I had a comment, like, it was from an old coworker, and they were like, oh, I love you, I appreciate you doing this, you've always never seen color, and I appreciate that. And I had to clap back at it, and I was like, what are you talking about? I absolutely see color. I'm not blind. I am 100% aware of what race is and what comes along with that. Like, she's actually super, like, woke and aware with her perspective. She went out of her way to acknowledge white privilege. She's going out of her way now to say, like, she shut that down. Like, so many people, like, don't get me wrong, I get it. When people say, I'm colorblind, I don't see race, I don't see color, they have good intentions because they don't know the implications of what they're actually saying. The fact that she's not caught up in that, like I said, the G in April shower stands for gangster. Like, I appreciate this perspective and her, like, her coming out of the way to go and do this. She didn't have to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't have to put herself out there doing all this. And the fact that she's doing that and it's actually coming from a place that is dope, like, yeah, I fuck with this.
Oh, I have not used that word, saying brother is hard to me. But now I say it with gratitude when I refer to my brother Koofy. Not gonna say I don't see color, that would be a lie. I see it, hear it, respect it, please know I'm on your side. So yes, my brother's black, and I could not be prouder. And if anyone's got a problem with it, I'll just say it louder. Now I'm an adult with my own views and beliefs, and I totally understand why they're protesting in the streets. You don't have to like this or agree, you don't have to think I'm right, but we all know good and well it'd be a lot different if Floyd was white. My dear friend and other brother.
She caught a bar too. I wasn't expecting her to catch a bar. Let's go. Talk your shit, April. Yo, I feel like a whole asshole now for even giving y'all the spiel about not wanting to do this in the beginning. Like, look at this as somebody that's pouring their heart out. Look at this as somebody who wants to do their part to raise awareness. Don't look at this as like, this is going to be the next rap song on the fucking radio. You go into this with the right mind. This is actually super fucking dope. This is super dope. If you have the right mind, like, anyone that would bash this also is probably just a fucking clown. Like, for what? For what purpose would you ever bash this? Every one of her points, every one of her focal points on this have been 100% spot on. I don't think she said one thing that would even be considered controversial to a rational thinking person. Like, everything about this is 100% spot on.
Yeah, I'll just say it louder. Now I'm an adult with my own views and beliefs, and I totally understand why they're protesting in the streets. You don't have to like this or agree, you don't have to think I'm right, but we all know good and well it'd be a lot different if Floyd was white. My dear friend and other brother Blitz said he'd like to hear my perspective. Wanted me to write and rap, so I prayed and my thoughts I collected. I was afraid to write about this, afraid to say how I feel. fear of people taking it wrong and thinking I'm not being real. My friends Char and Maria.
That was legit. Yo, like, this is, let's talk about it. This is a great conversation starter. This piece is a great conversation starter. There are a lot of people out there who are pandering. There are a lot of people, companies specifically, who are pandering to the Black Lives Matter movement for two reasons. One, fear of losing revenue for not doing it. And then B, because they want a cookie for doing the right thing. Like, you don't get a cookie for not being a racist. That's supposed to be the default setting. And for her to, like, admit that there is a fear inside of her that if she comes out as a white woman who does hip-hop reactions, that it's going to come across as pandering, there is no doubt in my mind that that is a real fear that she has. Especially because I don't know what her actual audience demographic is. Like, this is real. Like, that was real. She hit a lot of really important topics and notes on this. This is legit.
Encourage me to go ahead. I'm just writing how I feel, and I mean every word I said. No, I could never relate, and I'm not even gonna try. Please just know I love you all when y'all cry. So do I. I have a 12-year-old son, teaching him to have a different heart. Love and treat others equally. It stops where it starts.
Yeah, I bet. That was heavy. I bet that exhale felt so fucking good. Let's go. Yo, that was legit. April, my G. Let's talk about it. I'm proud of you. I don't really know her like that. Like I said, we are one conversation deep as far as a friendship or anything like that goes. But this deserved to be broken down. This deserved to be analyzed and broken down. And this is dope. I hope that this does reach somebody. Like, not somebody like me or her brothers or anything like that who are already understanding. I hope this reaches somebody that is outside of our demographic and actually can make a difference. Because a lot of times, all it takes is to hear a voice coming from somebody that looks like you to have your mind changed. I do not look like her. The guy on the screen does not look like her. So she automatically has a voice that has the ability to reach a demographic that we may or may not be able to. This is dope.
Okay. How did I do?
You did great.
My heart is racing.
She did it in front of her kid too. Like, that's powerful. That was her kid, I'm assuming that voice was. Like, and then she was just talking about, like, I'm trying to teach my 12-year-old, or I don't want to mispronounce, I don't want to misquote that if that was the wrong age. She was just talking about, I'm trying to teach my kids not to be like that. And then that's kind of heavy to hear the voice come in like that, talking about you did great.
Y'all got into it, man. It's emotional. Man, I hope y'all like that. As I said, I'm not a rapper. I'm not an artist.
Yes, the fuck you are now.
I'm a writer. So let me know what y'all think about the lyrics, to be brutally honest, in the comments. Love you, Blitz. Love you, Koofy. Love you, Maria. Love you, Char, Disney, Dwayne. I can sit here, Elijah. I can name Devo. I can name, y'all all know who you are. If I sat here and named everybody, we'd be here for the rest of the night. So anyway, much love to y'all. Comment below what y'all think. Please be honest. Like this video on your way out. It's a lot more important than anything. Please subscribe to my channel, y'all. I love y'all. We need to stand together. April G Squad. Fist bump. Love y'all. And I'll see y'all in a little bit.
I'll tell you what. So she wants brutal honesty, right? I think I was brutally honest. Like, I keep it 100. I was brutally honest the entire way through. With the exception of the comparison bars that I think the language that was used was weak. The message was still conveyed. Even at the weakest part of this rap, the message was still conveyed properly. Like, I'm under no disillusion that this is a radio hit. I'm under no disillusion that this is studio quality. But that's not what we came in here to look at. We came in here to look at, what is she saying? What is the message? What are the topics? What are the lyrics? Where is she going with this? I'm glad I decided to do this. I really am. Like, real shit. I'm glad that she was like that hard-headed about it too. She was like, yo, she was like, my guy. Like, I don't care. I just want to get this out there. Like, shout out to her, because this wouldn't have happened. If she wasn't who she was, this wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have went over this. This is fucking dope. I don't do a scorecard, and that's not a slight to her. If you go and you check any of my videos that have to do with what's going on today, I don't believe that this is about scoring it. I believe this is about what is the message that went through, and I'm treating her the same way that I treat every other artist that's been on my page. If you will have a message, if I do anything that has to do with the Black Lives Matter movement, if I do anything that has to do with injustices that are going on and stuff like that, that's not a rap song to be critiqued like a rap song. That is a message to be looked at, viewed, and broken down. And that's what we did. So I'm going to end it right there. I appreciate y'all coming and spending time with me. As always, I love y'all. Please go ahead and give her a subscribe, because this was fucking fantastic. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.